Hello guys, sorry there, bit of technical difficulties, but welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. Today is Thursday, September the 2nd, so hopefully you guys have had a good trading week so far. I know it's still got 1 second on the countdown, so we'll let that go, and then we'll make sure that we cover the disclaimers. She says, okay, that's come out of there, but let me just come back into it perhaps, so we can cover the disclaimers. My bad on the technical difficulty today. Let me just do that again. Okay, so let's cover the disclaimers. She says, there we go. Disclaimers, top left-hand corner. Please read them, of course, for legal reasons, but of course to understand that these kind of videos are demonstrations and don't necessarily give you an indication of what you might obtain in terms of results. Okay, so I think we're all good. We're all lined up now, so that's cool. My name is Becky. My email address is becky@tradictive.com. There it is there. And you also have support@tradictive.com, which you can email if you have any questions. There's also a link you can go to if I bring it up. A link you can go to, which is here, tradewithufos.com/Becky. From that link, you can get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top there. And then you can come down here and ask a question in a public setting. That's great because other people see the questions and also other people see the answers, so we all can learn from this space if we post questions there. So ideally that's where you'd go to post questions. tradewithufos.com/Becky. Okay, so 3D market commentary, what is it? Let's go through it. We send out an email every day. That's what we have here on the left. We send out an email every day that has information on 5 major world markets, and for each market we're looking at 3 separate elements, hence 3D approach. Okay, so what we look at first and foremost is market climate. Upcoming market direction. Where do we have probability? Up, down, or perhaps nowhere? That gives us an idea of whether or not we buy, sell, or do nothing. Are we long or short, or do we move on? We use an app, but everything we do is using technology to help us with this. This technology that we use down here, AutoClimate, is a free app on most platforms that you can get it on. And ignore the lines, just focus on the dots. What these dots tell us is where probability lies. What's the upcoming market direction? So if it's a thick blue dot, like the one we have here, that tells us probability is upwards. We should probably look to buy. If it was a thick red dot, like this one here, that would tell us probability is down. We should probably look to sell. If it was a thin dot of either colour, like say this one or this one, that tells us probability neither direction, do nothing, move on. So we're using technology to help us answer that question first and foremost. So we'll look at that per market. What we also want to look at is buy and sell UFOs, otherwise known as unfilled orders. Now we use these because these tell us where are the buyers and where are the sellers. That's helpful because it helps us figure out exactly where we should buy and sell. If we're buying, we want to buy where there's lots of other buyers because they're more likely to push price upwards. If we're selling, we want to sell where there's lots of other sellers. They're much more likely to push price downwards. So we're using, again, technology to help us figure out where these buyers and sellers are. We have green UFOs. Those show us where the buyers are. And we have the prices on the right-hand side, which tell us between which prices we have big stacks of buyers. We also have red UFOs that show us where the sellers are. So again, gives us an idea on the right-hand side as well with the prices as to between which prices we have stacks of sellers. So we can buy with the buyers and sell with the sellers using technology again to help us figure out where that is. Then the last thing we want to look at is market volatility, upcoming price change speed, meaning how quickly are these markets moving and what's the associated risk and reward. So we'll go through each of these 3 concepts per each of the 5 markets. Now all of these markets we're looking at on daily charts. So of course different things happen on different time frames. What we're looking at here is relevant to daily time frames, okay? So first market is the S&P. S&P 500 is the top 500 US stocks, and we are looking here at the ES, which is the futures contract for it. Essentially, we're looking at a representation of US stocks, okay? So with this, we have a confirmed upwards climate. We have a thick blue dot there. That's probability upwards, meaning we should be looking to buy more likely. Now, usually, the S&P would go up for 9 candles. I'm just rounding that up there. And we're on candle number 9. So we have come to the end of what would be a usual move to the upside. However, we see things go past what's normal, fall short of what's normal, that's kind of how we end up with a normal, right? That's how we end up with an average in the middle. So just because it's 9 out of 9 doesn't mean it's going to stop and turn around straight away today. It just means that past this, it starts to lack a little bit of probabilities that it continues. But overall, still probability up there with the S&P. We also have buy orders beneath us at 44.40.50 to 43.47.75. That's our closest stack of buy orders that we would expect to push price upwards if price were to go up. So bear that in mind. Now with volatility, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year on the S&P of 16.08%, which means in a day up or down of 45.88 points, in a week up or down of 100.99 points, and in a month up or down of 210.23 points. So that's the S&P overall probability upwards there based on the statistics. Now, as you'll notice, what I'm saying is about probability and about statistical advantages. Nothing is guaranteed in life, let alone in the markets. So of course, we still manage our risk in case we're wrong. Of course, we might still add other things to increase our probability. So bear those things in mind. But based on statistical advantages, we have overall probability to the upside on the S&P for now. Now let's look at crude oil, which is the next market. Before we do that, it says up here about looking to educate yourself, different courses that we offer, and also the apps that you can subscribe to. Now, most of the courses actually come with 3-month complimentary access to the apps. AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms. You can use it on anyway. AutoUFOs is a paid-for app, which depending on which platform you use depends on the cost. Now, you can subscribe directly to the AutoUFOs straight away. You don't need to do a course, you can just go straight with the AutoUFOs. Although, depending on which course you do, might actually be cheaper to do a course and get 3 months access to the UFOs as opposed to simply subscribe for the UFOs for 3 months. So depending on what you do, depends on how that works out. So take a look, see what works out better for you. Okay, so looking at oil, we have an unconfirmed climate, thin dot. Doesn't matter the colour, doesn't matter that it says up. What's important is that it's unconfirmed, meaning not enough probabilities either way. So we would change time frame, change market. Something to bear in mind is that we've just hit some sell orders again. We've got sell orders there at 71.96 to 69.19. They've already worked once, twice, 3 times to push price down. That's what we expect sell orders to do. That's why we want to know where they are. And we've just come up and literally just about to touch it again. So I wouldn't be surprised to see price turn over to the downside, but we'll see. At the moment, not enough probabilities either way. We do have buy orders, but they're quite far below us relatively. So that's 60.77 to 58.73. That's already worked as well to push price upwards. Again, that's why we want to know where it is so that we can figure out where price is going to turn. For the time being, not enough probabilities to call it, but we may see a reversal to the downside based on the sell orders that we have around about here. In terms of volatility with oil, we would expect in 1 year movement up or down of 36.13%, which is 1.57 points up or down in a day. In a week, it's 3.45 points up or down. And in 1 month, it's 7.18 points up or down. So that's oil. Moving on to the next market, which will be gold. Now it says here about coaching and support. We do a bunch of coaching and support for free. Of course, you're probably watching this on one of the free platforms. We also have a closed coaching community, which is a small monthly fee to have access to more of our time in a closed environment. So depending on what's best for you, obviously it depends on what you want to do. You can check out our closed coaching community or of course continue to use us for free. That's also fine. Okay, so gold, we have a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot probability upwards. Now, as we were saying before, sometimes things go past their norm. Here we have that gold would usually go up for 6.12 candles. I'm going to round it up to 7 because you can't really have a percentage of a candle. So 7 candles. And we're on candle number 14, meaning we've gone twice as far as what would be normal in this market, which means it kind of lacks probability that it continues. We also have sell orders that we are within right now. Those sell orders are between 1866 to 1804.4 and prices within them at 1812.6. Now we also have buy orders below us here at 1800.4 to 1781.3. So what we have is a situation where we have probability up from the climate, but it's overextended, so kind of a point in each camp there. we have sell orders on top of us and buy orders beneath us. So a point in each camp there. Overall, not enough probability in one direction or the other in order to really call it one way or the other. I personally would be keeping out of this and letting it play itself out over the next few days, see what happens, before I would then jump onto the one that gives me most probability. For the time being, I would say not enough probability either way there really with gold. Now, in terms of volatility, we have movement up or down in a year of 15.12%, which means in a day, up or down of 17.32 points. In a week would be 38.12 points up or down. And in a month, up or down of 79.36 points. Okay, next market, which is the US dollar. Now, the US dollar is responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide daily. So be aware of it. Whether you trade it or not, be aware of it. It will impact pretty much any market you could be trading. So let's take a look at the dollar. So excuse me. With the dollar, we have a confirmed downwards climate. Thick red dot there, probability down. Usually this market would come down for 6 candles. We're on candle number 4. So we've got room for it to continue to the downside. However, we do have a buy and sell close to each other situation here as well. So we have sell orders right above us, already working to push price down at 92.79 to 92.395. But we also have buy orders literally just underneath us there at 92.36 to 91.82. So we've got sellers and buyers close to each other, on top of each other, in the context of a downwards climate. If you had to call it in one direction, it would be to the downside, because we still have room to the downside. That's the only difference that we have here with the dollar versus what we looked at previously with gold. But again, for me, too close to each other, these buyers and sellers, to really give me all of the probabilities that I want. So for me, not enough probabilities on this yet. I'd like to see either price hit the buy orders, turn, change to an upwards climate and get involved with that, or I'd like to see these sell orders beat the buy orders, take them out of the way, and then give me more profit to the downside to go in on the downside. For the time being, not clear either way. Now, with the market volatility, we would expect in a year that the US dollar would go up or down by 5.37%, which is 0.31 points up or down in a day, in a week 0.69 points up or down, and in a month 1.43 points up or down. Okay, last market. The last market is backed Bitcoin. Now it says there about interested but have questions. You can self-schedule a clarification call with us if you want to chat through the coaching, memberships, apps, what's going to work best for you, if anything. By all means, get in touch by scheduling self-scheduling a clarification call. Okay, so Bitcoin, we have a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot, probability upwards. Now, we don't actually know with Bitcoin how long it usually goes up or down for. It's not old enough yet. We don't have enough data to really say what's usual on this market. So what we do know is that we have just started a new move to the upside. It paused for a second, and now it's giving us a new candle to the upside, which is good. We also have buy orders right beneath us there at 48,997.5 to 46,680, with sell orders not for a little while until 57,975 to 54,500. So with this in mind, we still have probability to the upside. We're right at the start of a move, even though we don't know how long it usually goes up for. We know we're at the very start of whatever that could be. We've got a confirmed upwards climate, buy orders beneath us, and space to the upside. So overall, probability up there with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin moves a bit more than the others, up or down in a year of 94.39%. which in a day is up or down of 2,982.37. In a week, 6,565.38, up or down, and in a month, up or down of 13,666.94. So overall, a bit more volatile than the others, bear that in mind, but probability upwards. So for each of these markets, we've looked at the climate, where we have probability up or down based on an app, AutoClimate. We've then looked at buy and sell UFOs, where we have buyers and sellers that could push us up or down, again using the app AutoUFOs to help. And then we've looked at volatility and broke it down in terms of a year, a day, a week and a month, how quickly we would expect these markets to move, or how far we expect them to move within those time periods. If you have any questions, you can email me, Becky@tradictive.com. One more thing to go over before we finish is our weekly economic calendar. Now what we do here is we go to fxstreet.com and we filter, sorry, I've got something in my throat here. We filter by high impact news and by most major world markets. Now we do that not because we care what the news is, but because if we're going to be trading something, we want to know if there are scheduled news reports that might cause it to react a little bit crazily. So for example, today being Thursday, we had news that came out early in the morning here in the US for the Swiss franc. Nothing now until tomorrow. We've got early in the morning for the euro and sort of mid-morning for the US dollar tomorrow. So bear that in mind if you trade those markets or within those countries. Again, any questions you can come to tradewithufos.com/Becky. Excuse me. It's just up here, tradewithufos.com/Becky. Get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership if you don't already, and then you can ask questions here, which is helpful for everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow for the market commentary then. So I'll see you then. Have a great trading day.